Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Pigeon Deep, who you've seen here on Central Kentucky Television over several years.
Yes.
With our dessert auctions and just doing interviews and various different items that she's talked about. But today we have some personal information to share about Pigeon.
Sure.
I know we've been on here before talking about your son, Aaron, who is in federal prison.
Yes, in Lexington.
And has been there since? In prison.
In prison or in jail since March of 1999.
And it was for a drug charge, correct?
Correct.
And we've talked a little bit about his case.
Yes.
And you've been working for many years to try and get an appeal or relief or something for him. And recently you were working on a commutation for his case, right?
Right.
And that you've recently heard was not
It was
approved?
denied.
Okay.
It was denied, and they do not have to give us a reason, which they did not. And under the Freedom of Information Act, this is not covered, so we can't request the information as to why it was denied.
Well, let's go into a little nutshell about Aaron's case. So he's been in jail since 1999. What happened?
Okay, in Aaron's words, he was asked by his father to drive one of his friends to Florida, and he told him that they were looking into buying more property and reselling. And that is something that Aaron had been down there before with his father and helped him rewire a house, so he didn't doubt him. But anyway, on this one trip, he went down, and they arrived one night, and on Thursday morning there was a knock on the door and Aaron was arrested. We depended on the beginning a lot on the agents, or actually the Kentucky agents helped me more than the Floridas. And they were telling me, what was going on and, basically, what was happening. So my brother took me to Florida and we tried to find him, but we went through 4 trials. We had 2 mistrials, and then I guess, I don't know whether you would call it a forced mistrial or what. One was done because of the judge told us we could do that or not use information that we were not allowed to put in there. There were actually 2 government witnesses that were on the witness list that were approved to testify in Aaron's behalf. And when they got up to testify, the judge rescinded the order stating they could testify, and then he tied their hands and wouldn't let us explain to the jury as to why this was done, in which we weren't given a reason why he rescinded. But Aaron's attorney had talked about these 2 witnesses in his opening statement, and we were told that we would not be able to explain anything that had happened as to why they weren't testifying, So he says, or we can just declare a mistrial. So that's what we did on that one, and then 2 were hung juries. And on the 4th one, they finally got him. And he was convicted, and the judge sentenced him to 30 years. And basically he told him that, he was given an offer to cooperate, and he did not cooperate. And the reason he told them he did not cooperate was because he said what they were telling him, he didn't know that personally. And he could not in his right conscience get up there and tell something that they had told him because he didn't know it. So anyway, they were a little, I guess, perturbed because he did not do that, like generally people do. And the judge gave him 30 years. And in the federal prison, there is no parole. You have to serve. If you do not get in any trouble, you can get out after you serve 85% of your time, but you have to serve 85%. So we applied for a commutation that has to come from the president after the appeals and everything were denied. So we asked for a commutation from the president. This was our second one. but President Obama says that he wants to be there for the people. And I heard about a site that he has on the internet, and on this site it says that you can make a request of the president to look at any issue that you have. But for it to be looked at, it will require 25,000 signatures. So I looked at it and to see how it was done and everything, and you actually go in and to the site. I went into one that already had one there and looked to see, you know, what was required. And to sign it, you have to give an email address, and that is basically, I guess, once it's confirmed that you reply to that email, that's your signature. I didn't do one actually because there really wasn't anything on there, and I didn't know any of the people that were on there, so I wasn't going to do it just to find out how it was going to work. But anyway, I'm in the process of trying to get it written up and to try for the 25,000 signatures.
Great. Now, we want to mention that, you know, some people are out there saying, I know people who are arrested for drugs all the time, but they don't get 30 years.
Right.
The reason it was 30 years and the reason it was federal is because it took place over state lines. Is that correct?
Yes, that is part of it. And in Florida, they're a lot stiffer in punishments than they are around here. So, you know, the location, it has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Now, you also have a Facebook page that people can find a little bit more about this,
yes,
correct?
I do, and it is called Aaron's Calls, and it is AARON' space CAUSE, Aaron's Calls. And there are pictures on there of Aaron, and I brought one if you want to show it to them. But there are pictures on there, and there's letters from Aaron on there that tells what happened in his words, because nobody can better tell that than him. So that's, you know, that's basically where we are now, because we can't do the commutation, and when I get everything done, I'll put the information.
Okay. So please, if you're on Facebook, you can visit Aaron's Calls and find out more about this, about Aaron's story and what Pigeon is working towards.
Yes, and ask to be a friend of it, like it or whatever. I'm not sure how people are doing it, but it is an open book. Anybody can look at it. You don't have to have a like or whatever. But people have been asking to be a friend, and by being a friend, they'll get the updates.
Right. Okay. Great. So that will get information to you about Aaron's Calls, and we are going to hopefully get those 25,000 signatures so we can get that investigated further.
Mine's going to be first.
That's right. So, well, we hope it all works out. Do you have a time frame that you need to get this completed?
Just while he's in office.
Okay.
Just while President Obama's in office is it, because, you know, I don't know what the next president will do, or you know, how he'll feel, and I'm hoping that he'll really look at it, because we sent a lot of letters with the commutation from people here in Marion County and people that knew him, you know, outside of Marion County, in favor of his commutation. Even Representative Terry Mills and Senator Jimmy Higdon, they have supported it, and we sent all kinds of letters up. I was really, usually I take things in stride, but this one set me back, because I just knew this one was going to be it, because we had the support from the community and everything, and I thought this one is going to be it.
Well, hopefully the next one we're going to make it happen.
I hope so. I hope so.
So again, it's Aaron's Calls on Facebook, and get some more information, and hopefully we can get Aaron back home.
That sounds good. He can come down here and do an interview.
That's right. Have him on here on Central Kentucky TV.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
It's been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.